everybody.
Morning, everyone.
Hey, right, so today we thought we'd talk about the different types of tiger, the subspecies of tiger that we've got here at the sanctuary, and of course what exists around the world. So we are starting off this morning with our very own Amazia, a lovely little girl here. He's having a bit of a treat with Jem. So Jem, what are we doing today with Amazia?
So today we've just got a few little top-up bits of meat basically for our tigers as we go around so that you can see them all up close. This is Amazia. Amasia's our 8-year-old Amur tiger and the only one that we've got here at the sanctuary.
So Amur tiger. So let's start off with, first of all, at home, for those people that don't know, what subspecies of tiger are there out and about on the planet at the moment?
So technically speaking, there are now 5 subspecies of tiger left out in the wild. We have definitely lost 3 subspecies of tiger and one is arguably gone. South China tiger hasn't been seen out in the wild for probably 30 years now. So left in the wild, we've got the Amur tiger and the Sumatran tiger, which we've got here at the sanctuary, the Bengal tiger, the Indo-Chinese, and also the Malayan tiger too. So they're the ones that we've got left.
Great, okay. So yeah, we're going to have a look first of all at an glorious example of an Amur tiger right in front of us. So what are the features of this amazing cat that stands it out from the other tigers?
So Amazia being an Amur tiger, what a lot of you might better know them as the Siberian tigers, by the way. Just to kind of clarify that, they are the same thing. They're no longer found over such a vast range of Siberia. They're merely found in a place called the Amur Valley, which is why this name has changed. And they are really the only tiger that typically you're going to find somewhere cold. Okay, all other tigers are going to be found in warmer climates. So these cats are found out in the far east of Russia in a place called the Amur Valley, which is just above northern China and North Korea. They're the largest by far of the tiger subspecies, and they're actually the largest cat species overall as well. So Amazia being a female is obviously not as big as a male can be. She's around between 120 and 130 kilos, but males can get in excess of 250 kilos, so they are absolutely huge. But as well as that, Amazia being an Amur tiger, she's also got a much lighter coloration. So what I'll do for you all quickly is actually show you that just under her belly. When she comes up, what you're going to notice underneath here is that actually she's got a lot of white coverage underneath. On the other tigers, yes, you're going to see it a little bit, but nowhere near as obvious in the Amur tiger, and you'll notice it on her face as well. Even the orange patterning on Amazia is very, very pale, and also those markings on her. When we go and see our Sumatran tigers next, what you're going to see is that the markings are faded almost on the Amurs, and also far wider apart, and that's because they're found across a slightly different habitat range, often in quite cold, snowy places, and so this obviously is why we've got this white coloration on them. But as well as that, they're found in not such a dense forested area. Okay, so this is also why we're going to see them in a more temperate environment overall. And at the minute, Amazia is getting her winter coat. Believe me, a wild Amur tiger would be double the size in fluff of Amazia. Okay, she loves our winter months here at the sanctuary. People always say to us, how do our cats do in the hot weather? Well, in the cold weather, sorry. Well, in actual fact, Amazia does amazingly well here in our winters.
Amazing to see, and I guess that's probably why they tend to be the bigger species as well. And is that the same with most species of cat, that the more dense the sort of the forest or the environment that they're living in, the smaller they are?
The smaller, exactly. So the larger cats we do tend to find, or the larger animals generally we find in the colder regions, they survive better. Smaller animals, they're going to use up more energy keeping themselves warm, so being bigger like this is much more beneficial in those colder environments ultimately. So that's why we see the largest ones in the colder regions, whereas as you get smaller down into the dense forest and also islands as well, you're going to find the smaller of the subspecies of the animals.
So she's a fabulous winter version of a cat. And don't forget, ladies and gents, that we've got our Christmas marketplace is open. Speaking of winter, you can get all of your presents for Christmas from the Big Cat Sanctuary. Just visit our website. You can visit our Christmas marketplace up there. Lots of snowy pictures of the sanctuary. And of course, we have our Christmas raffle up for grabs as well. For you guys out there, if you wanted to come and be part of this Facebook Live, join me, Harry, and one of our keepers, could be Jem, could be one of the others, and you get a chance to be with us right here while we are going live with our fabulous cats. You'll be with us in the background, in behind the scenes, and helping us broadcast to all our supporters. So you got a chance to win that if you enter the Christmas raffle. So Jem, I think we're going to move on now and see if we can see one of our other cats. Yep. Just to see, last look there maybe at Amazia. So that is an Amur tiger. Aren't you, sweetheart? And then we're going to go across now and walk to go and see one of our other fabulous cats, the magnificent Nias, who is a wonderful Sumatran tiger. Gem's just going to catch up with us at the moment. So, Gem, she's just locking, making sure that gate is safe and secure. So, Gem, what's the reason? Why are there sort of different subspecies of tiger? Is that because of where they're found out in the wild?
Yeah, definitely. So the reason we get different subspecies within species is normally because they're adapting to their own environment. At some point along the line, there has often been some sort of isolation of a group of animals, and those group of animals have basically then evolved to fit in with that direct environment. For example, with the Amur tiger, they have basically been isolated up in the far east of Asia, right up into the far east of Russia, and obviously it's much colder there, so they've naturally had to evolve a thicker coat, a larger size, a lighter coloration, basically through natural selection, to then become ultimately the best predator they can be in that environment.
Just a note for people as we're walking by, we're obviously going past some Amur leopards as well.
Yeah,
you can see that's Zizi, that's Arthur there, and Zizi just coming through. So all interested in the food, obviously, that we're carrying with us, but not for you guys today. But of course, those guys found out in the same place that you find them.
Exactly the same place, yeah. And the Amur leopards have very similar adaptations to the Amur tigers as well, to survive in that region too.
Wonderful. So as we come in, we are entering the land of Nias and Narnia. So we're just going to open up the gates for you in a second. We'll come through, and obviously we're broadcasting live here at the sanctuary over Facebook, but every Wednesday, if you haven't seen it, we've got the Feel Good Factor TV programs that have been broadcasting with Heather Small and her visit to the sanctuary here. So if you get a chance, that's going across YouTube, Facebook and Instagram, of course. And then exciting news, ITV1 on the 2nd of December at 8 p.m. the Big Cat Sanctuary will be featured on the Paul O'Grady Show. Okay, so have a look at that, ITV1, 8 p.m. You can see more about Paul O'Grady coming to the sanctuary and finding out about our cats. But now we're here.
Hoping Nias is going to be coming outside.
Let's have a look.
Nias!
See if Nias boy will come out. Here he is.
He loves his food, so.
There we go. The drawer of food for this magnificent animal. So, I mean, okay, so we've just had a look at an Amur tiger.
Yep.
So please tell the ladies and gentlemen at home what kind of tiger we are looking at now.
So instead here, we have now got a Sumatran tiger. Okay, so Sumatran tigers, I know you might not believe it when you see Nias standing next to me in the same way that Amazia was, but they are actually the smallest subspecies. One thing I would say definitely to remember is that Nias is a male. Okay, so really you've got to compare gender in these species as well. Nias actually isn't quite as heavy as Amazia anyway, even though Amazia is actually a female. So a male Amur tiger would be far larger than Nias is here. So these are the smallest subspecies found out on the island of Sumatra out in Indonesia.
Amazing. So I don't think, again, looking at that size as well, also a difference of the body shape maybe with Nias. So maybe for the guys at home, you know, what's different to him in terms of how his back end to his front end?
Yeah, so I mean, tigers generally have quite a chunky front end. The reason for this is they are bringing down quite large prey animals, and so they've got to have quite a big chunky front end and a slimmer back end. Nias has got quite a nice large broad head. That is something you're going to see in males of the species across the board really. But one thing about the Sumatrans is they've got this beautiful, let me see if I can get him to have a look at you properly with the camera. They've got this beautiful ruff around the edge of his face. This is something we see really in the Sumatrans quite predominantly, and this basically is a sign of dominance within the males. You're not going to see it as much in the females. So Nias is quite a dominant male here, always has been at the sanctuary. He's now 17 years old, so this is most definitely his home. And so that beautiful ruff is quite enlarged, just showing that he's a bigger and more powerful male basically.
And darker than Amazia with
far darker, yeah. I mean, I'll bring him up, and what you'll notice is, yes, there is still some white coloration underneath. However, the orange on the body actually tracks much further round and down. And the other thing as well is you'll notice it's a really deep orange colour instead of that lighter orange. And the markings on him, they're jet black instead of being that faded black on Amazia. And as well, they're far closer together, but this is because these are a rainforest cat ultimately. So to be able to camouflage, they need to be darker to fit in with those surroundings, and those stripes break up that bodily figure to enable them to actually camouflage within the forested areas.
Amazing.
Lovely, Jen. Tell us a little bit about Nice's sort of personality for people that may not have met him before.
So Nice has got a lovely personality. He's our oldest tiger that we have now here on site at 17 years old. Pretty much been a resident here since he was about 2 as well. So this really is his forever home. Nice is a really lovely cat to work with. As he's aging, he's definitely getting lazier as well. And also still has a cheeky side, don't get me wrong. I think all of these cats do. But he tends to be a reasonably mellow cat to work around, which is lovely for a tiger. Other than when he's got his dinner near him. When he's got his dinner near him, just like any of our big cats here, you're not going to get too close. But yeah, he's a really lovely cat to work with. He's one of the cats that we've been able to advance really quickly, and you might have, some of you following us might have seen a lot of videos of Nice with the training, and this is just because he's so chilled around us, and it means that we can do a lot in terms of health checks with him, which is great. I mean, we've advanced him to the point where we can pull his tail out from under the mesh to be able to take blood draws. We can check his claws and things like that as well, and the next move is going to be trying to get him to open his mouth so we can check his teeth for dental work as he's getting older, obviously. We're just aware that those teeth could start to basically get a little bit funny over the years.
Great, thanks, Jem. So maybe, I mean, giving Nice the last bit of food here, but also one thing, I mean, I know we have different subspecies, but obviously there are complete similarities behind. They're not completely different. They are still the same species, right?
Yes, exactly that. So subspecies are merely kind of, they're all under the tiger bracket, if you like. And if we look at tigers globally, all of them are orange and stripy ultimately, well, generally speaking. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but they all do have slight differences, and this is where the term subspecies comes into play. And that's similar with a lot of the cats we've got here. Things like the leopards as well have species and then subspecies underneath ultimately as well. Yeah,
great. You can see we've got a few cars going back and forth, and here obviously it is locked down here, ladies and gentlemen, so we don't have any guests here like yourselves coming to help and support us. But we have all the keepers and the cats that need feeding and caring for still going on. So we have got our big cat support fund, which is out there at the moment. So if you haven't gone to there, please visit that or share that with everybody. Any donation you can make, a fiver, a tenner, is going to help us continue to feed and care for these cats, particularly in this cold, chilly environment with no guests to come and help us through these winter months. So anything you can do to help out would be fantastic. So, but cats, now you talked about orange and stripy. Yeah. We have got some non-orange but very stripy cats, which we're going to go and visit at the moment. So the wonderful Narnia over here.
Yeah, so this is Narnia over here.
So Narnia is a white tiger, okay, but she's also obviously a subspecies of tiger as well. So maybe tell the ladies and gents at home about that.
Yes, so she is herself a subspecies. So she is actually a Bengal tiger. I mean, a lot of people are always quite shocked by this fact because people think that white tigers are their own subspecies together. A lot of people actually nickname them snow tigers, for example, but in actual fact, these are not snow tigers at all. This is merely a genetic mutation that we see in the Bengal tiger subspecies, which is the most populated subspecies out in the wild, estimated to be around 2,000 of them now left. And they're found across places like India, Nepal and Bangladesh.
Yeah, so for people would think that this white tiger has adapted for camouflage out in the wild in somewhere snowy, but in fact not at all. And maybe tell the guys at home about the actual disadvantage of the colour in the wild. Yeah,
so what she has got is basically a leucistic mutation. This is a very rare double recessive mutation that we see in approximately 1 in every 10,000 tigers naturally in the wild. I must stress that this hasn't been sighted in the wild since about the 1950s, and there is a very good reason for it. Bengal tigers, for those that you don't know, like I said, found in India, Nepal, places like that. They're found in very densely forested areas. And this means that a bright white cat like this is literally just going to stick out like a sore thumb. Obviously, we were talking about how the cats have adapted for their different habitats. And that's exactly what the Sumatran tigers have done for their very, very dense forested area out on the island of Sumatra. Actually, out in India, it's similar in places. It's very, very densely forested. And being this bright in coloration just makes her stand out, whether it be as a cub when she's a youngster, standing out to other tigers and other predators. Obviously, that's a threat. But then if they were to, which is very unlikely, but if they were to mature to an older size, then ultimately they're going to be sticking out for their prey as well. So they're not going to be able to catch prey either out in the wild. So although we do have white tigers here, these animals are merely a gene mutation and are not sighted out in the wild anymore, and that is, like I say, for natural reasons. That's not because of human interference in this instance.
Yeah. So this is one of the reasons, obviously, that we are here on occasion for cats like Narnia, is to give them, as we said before, a forever home with us. And maybe a bit of backstory about people who don't know Narnia's story. I mean, her character-wise, she's obviously being very gentle here.
Yes, she is.
But maybe a bit of her backstory why she's here at the sanctuary.
Yeah, so Narnia is actually a circus tiger, or ex-circus tiger, I should say. She came to us across from a circus in France when she was just about a year old, and then has been between Paradise Wildlife Park, our sister site, and here for the kind of years since. She's really settled down here, probably been here for the past 8-9 years now, and she's 16 years old. So that circus background is sometimes quite typical of a white tiger, because of their coloration and because of what they look like. Don't get me wrong, I completely agree with people, they are stunning animals. However, sadly, a lot of people have profited off this and made these animals a more commercial factor, really, and sadly overbred them. And actually, with the white tigers, there is a very, very shallow gene pool in captivity, and what this means is that in fact inbreeding is likely, and so there are a lot of health problems. And we are very lucky because we've got 2 gorgeous white tigers here, both of which thankfully full bills of health, which is amazing. And Narnia at 16 years old is proving that it's not always the case, but it doesn't mean to say Narnia is here as a breeding cat or anything. She's merely here as an educational species, and obviously as a rehome from the circus environment that she came from as well.
Fabulous. And of course we have the wonderful Bacau with us as well, another white tiger who is has been at Paradise Wildlife Park, is now staying with us here as a resident. So, and he's just popped up on our adoption list as well. For now, brand new, you can go online and adopt Bacau, and of course any of these fabulous cats that you see here today. You said about Narnia's personality as well. She is being very, very gentle right now, and she is with the tongue feeds and the hand feeds and things. But Narnia can be quite a feisty little cat. She's a bit of a diva. Narnia does what she wants when she wants, basically. You certainly can't tell this tiger what she's going to do, and that's what we all absolutely love about her. We've talked about size with the different subspecies of cat, Jen. So for the Bengal tiger, where does that sit in between the Amur and the Sumatran?
So they are smaller than the Amur, but much larger than the Sumatran. So they're typically known as the second of the largest of the subspecies of tigers, actually. And like I said, out in the wild, the Bengals are the ones that are probably doing the best. There's probably the best initiatives for the Bengal tiger at the minute in terms of protected zones and things like that. So the population is around 2,000, whereas something like a Sumatran tigers, it's suggested that their population isn't even at 400 individuals anymore. So you can see the stark differences between the subspecies in terms of conservation status as well.
And so lots of differences, obviously similarities as tigers, and I guess in terms of threats, all of these subspecies pretty much facing the same sort of challenges out there.
Yeah, exactly the same. It's across the board really for all cats, but with tigers we've got poaching issues, whether that be poaching for the beautiful coats of these cats or whether it be for the tiger parts. A lot of people might be aware that tiger parts are now being used in all sorts of traditional medicine cultures out in the far east of Asia, as well as in things like tiger wine, which is sold more as a luxury item than anything else. We've then got habitat destruction, which is by far a leading problem for all cat species, but with the tigers it most definitely is affecting them a lot as well. Out in Sumatra we're seeing a lot of rainforest destruction merely for plantations of palm oil, and then out in the far east of Asia where we've got the Amur tiger, we're seeing a lot of illegal logging and legal logging actually for the wood out there, basically for us to use over here in the Western world. And so both these things are having massive impacts on our beautiful tiger subspecies.
And the fabulous Narnia demonstrating that it's up to her. She is a diva. She's decided that that's enough for her, so she's wandered off. So that's enough for us. I mean, it's a threat that's faced out by all those tiger species out there in the world, but there is positive stuff that you guys can do at home, whether that's through shopping choices, you know, buying products that have sustainable palm oil in them, you know, maybe switching to a more plant-based diet, not eating as much red meat, all those sorts of things. And if you are eating meat, then make sure that it's from a sustainable source, locally produced, less miles on them, and from someone that's treating their animals in a great way. But just supporting and donating and enabling us to give money to the guys that are out there in the field doing the conservation work, the protection work, and helping to save all of these subspecies of tiger and all of the cats and all the other animals that live in the environments that we're helping to protect out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for all your support. thank you for coming and joining us here at the Big Cat Sanctuary on a cold winter morning, and we hope to see you back here again next Friday when we go live once more from the Big Cat Sanctuary. But for now, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye everyone, thanks very much.